let me begin with reading Psalm 61, a couple of words from there. Psalm 61, verses 1 to 4. Hear my cry, O Lord, attend unto my prayer. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. For thou hast been a shelter for me and a strong tower from the enemy. I will abide in the tabernacle forever. I will trust in thee, covered of thy wings. Take a moment and let's begin this program with a short prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time we come together discussing, thinking, studying about the vaccine that is prepared and administering for the use of humans. Lord, at this time we thank you for Binu Samuel, for all the blessings you have given to him, for him to be able to come and teach us, instruct us, and to clear our questions about the vaccine that is getting popular all over the universe. Lord, we thank you for all our people participating in this Zoom session. We think about all our brothers, sisters, neighbors, friends, and each and every one who was infected with this disease. Lord, at this time we pray for the families. They lost their family members. Lord, at this time we pray for those who are working with the Ministry of Healthcare and getting closely contact with the people who are sick. And at this time, we pray for those people who are working behind the scenes in day and night and developing the vaccines. Let us begin the session with the Lord's Prayer. Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, forgive our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not temptation, deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Welcome, everyone. We are going to begin this session. We have the person we all were looking for. It's nobody else other than Mr. Binu Samuel. He is one of our brothers. He was so blessed to be playing a part to develop the vaccine. We can ask him, we can get the answers, the first-hand information. For this, Mr. Saji Important, he was working with our men's forum, and we arranged this Zoom session. I believe Meryl Pothin is coordinating this, this event, and we have all our brothers and sisters together. So I don't want to take anyone's time. Let me invite Saji Important, to take over. Then Meryl will continue with that. Binu, once again, our prayers and best wishes. Keep on moving. Saji, please come and take over.
Thank you, Acha.
Thank you, Achan. Respected Vicar, Reverend Father Raju Varghese, Church Administration, Chief Guest, none other than Binu Samuel, Ms. Beryl Pothin, and friends and family from the St. Mary's Indian Orthodox Church. This informative session formality casually. Binu is going to answer the questions. We already arranged everything. Meryl is going to conduct it. She is going to be the moderator for the session. We already got the questions, a lot of questions, still coming questions. We have only almost in an hour, 3 o'clock, our Sunday school is going to start. So before that, we are going to end up. So Meryl is going to control that. But thank you, everyone, the tech team, Secretary Joe, Alexander, everybody in advance. To arranging and conducting and the men's forum. On behalf of the men's forum, I'm inviting everybody for this session. Again, this is an informative session. Still, we can send the questions. If we cannot answer any of the questions within the time, I think in advance I'm asking, I don't know, I didn't talk to Binu that before. Binu may answer the question, and so we will send the answers later.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And again, I'm going to introduce Merrill. Merrill Pothen, MPP, is a senior health policy advisor at Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina. There, she develops and implements policies and provide nearly 4 million people with a higher quality and lower cost healthcare. She's a specialist in health insurance, healthcare cost, prescription drugs, and policy communications. Merrill earned her Master's of Public Policy degree from Duke University and her BS in Policy Analysis and Management from Cornell. Here you go, Merrill Pothen, for today's events moderator. Here you go, Merrill. The floor is for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone, and thank you to
Merrill, we are so proud of you. Those who are attending this session, I want to say a word about Merrill. She's very helpful. If you have anything about health insurance or anything, those kind of things, I always go to her. She's a resource person for that. It's one of our child or our daughter, Merrill. Come on.
Okay, thank you, Achin. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone to the Men's Forum and our leadership for coordinating this very important event. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very honored to be alongside Binu Samuel, Uncle. I'm going to quickly introduce him, and then we have so many questions. We're not going to be able to get to all of them, so we're going to try to keep it quick. Binu, Uncle, if you see me cut you off, it is nothing rude. I just want to make sure we get through all the questions.
Yes.
So Binu Samuel, MS, is the Director of Scientific Business Development at Frontage, a clinical trials management company. He is a pharmaceutical research scientist who has worked in the industry for over 20 years, including at Pfizer and at Merck. He's one of the 444,000 people who participated in the Pfizer COVID-19 clinical trial. And he earned his Master of Science in Chemistry from Kerala University and his MS in Pharma Sciences from St. John's. He lives in New Hyde Park, so very, very near to us. He's one of our neighbors with his wife, Dina, and his children, Noah and Jonah. And he is a member of Cherry Lane Church. So is that wrong? Which church?
St. Basil Orthodox Church.
St. Basil's, there we go. All right, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Uncle, for joining us. So I'm going to dive right in. So Uncle, first, can you just very quickly, so people get to know you a little bit more, we've seen you on AsiaNet, we've seen you on some other shows, just quickly introduce yourself. What do you do? When did you immigrate to the US? Just very quickly before we get into some questions.
Yeah, thank you, Achin, and thank you all the St. Mary's Orthodox Church members and giving me this opportunity to talk. So my talk mainly will be in Manglish, English and Malayalam. Okay, if you can cut on that, you can. So my name is Binu Samuel, but if you go officially, my name is Kuppara Binu Samuel. If you look at Facebook, it's Kuppara. I hail from Chandanapalli. My grandfather's brother is Achin, that Kuppara Achin. So if you know, in my workplace, I only know as Kuppara. So as you know, I worked in Pfizer and Merck as a research scientist, and now I am directing a scientific at Frontage. My wife, Bina, is a pharmacist, and I have two boys, Noah Samuel. I think he came to your altar. He's an altar boy, and Jonah. So that's my background. Merrill, I want to ask you something. If you can, I saw all your questions, right? This is just a dialogue goes in. If you can give me 10 minutes, I just want to explain certain things, then we jump directly into the question.
Sure, no problem.
Very helpful for me. Right?
Definitely, go ahead.
Okay, so I thank God, actually. I really thank God that I was able to participate in this global volunteership for Pfizer vaccine. But ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു ചോദ്യം ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ if one question comes in, everybody's mind about this vaccine, what will be the question coming up? I know, because I'm answering this left and right, is that this vaccine was developed in 9 months. That is the answer everybody giving, 9 months, shortage. So I'm going to explain in 10 minutes what is a traditional vaccine and what was mRNA done. Now, then you will appreciate it is not 9 months, rather than it is almost 6 years work done already. So let me get it very quickly, then Meryl, you can ask question, okay? You can cut it down anywhere, right?
Sounds good.
So in a traditional vaccine, right, protein-based, for an example, it's a flu vaccine or Ebola or a polio vaccine, anything. It's a live virus, and how you develop that, right? Science is established, you inject that virus into a chicken egg. That's the first thing it happens. And then they wait 1 year to develop that virus, then come up with sequence and all that, right? It's almost a year done. And then goes to different phases. What are these phases of this vaccine development? It is preclinical work, which I'm part of, right? In the lab with the animals and all that. It takes almost 2 years. So 1 + 2, it's almost 3 years. Then we submit paperwork to all regulatory agency in the world, right? And now, agencies it's same. It's a government agency. They sit on that paper, right, for 3-4 months, right? And then once it gets approved, it goes to phase 1. And then it is almost 2 years of work there. Then phase 2, another 2 years. Then it goes to phase 3. If you put all this together, it is 8 to 9 years of work. But if you really count if you take the paperwork, it's only 4 years of work to get a vaccine or a drug, right? I worked on most of the small molecule like Januvia. If you're taking Januvia, Citromax, I worked on that. It's 8-9 years. But what I'm going to tell you today is this mRNA technology, right? You have to remember, doctor, her name is Dr. Katalin Kariko. Dr. Katalin Kariko, an Hungarian biochemist. She was an assistant professor at University of Pennsylvania. She worked almost 30 years to establish this mRNA science. She lost her family. She lost her professorship. Nobody gave her grant. And then finally, somebody from Harvard University called, his name is Dr. Drew Weissman. They found out what was the problem with this messenger RNA. If you look at a car, there is 4 tires for the car. One is misaligned. That's a problem. As soon as you inject this mRNA to an animal, there is no efficacy. So that was the problem. She was struggling for 25 years and she lost her job. So ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത് അവർ ഒരിക്കലും ഈ വർക്കിനെ വിട്ട് കളഞ്ഞില്ല. സർവശക്തനായ ദൈവത്തിന്റെ കരുണ അവരുടെ കൂടെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. And they fixed it almost a couple of years ago, and they formed this BioNTech company. And then all the animal studies is done. All the lab work is done, right? So it is ready, and they were waiting for some pandemic to come. And somebody said, this was created, okay, whatever it is. So all the technology was established, right? Now you look at earlier, it is 8 years. Now everything is established. What I know what is mRNA, and then what is mRNA, right? This mRNA, what it does is that it enters the body and it tells the cell to create a protein. That's it. And when we go into the meeting, you will know how unstable is mRNA, right? So idellam set cheyidu vechappozhana ee pandemic varunathu. So Pfizer was thinking about, can we do something? And they figured out, okay, we can create this spike protein. They saved 2 years there. And then phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. It never happened in sequence. It all happened in parallel, right? When the lab work was going, phase 1 happened, phase 2 happened, phase 3 happened, everything in parallel. And none of the regulatory agencies sat on the paper. So everything was going together. Somebody said everybody was working 18 hours. That was the truth. So this 8-9 years of work was done in 1 year because the science is established for last 30 years. So if anybody has a question, you can talk. This is not a 9-month work. It is a 30-year of work. Now we can get to the questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Binu Uncle, for establishing that baseline. The first question I had, and the most common thing we had, was people were concerned about the safety and how well the vaccine will work because they think it was developed very quickly. But now we know, thank you for explaining, this has been in development for almost 30 years. And actually,
Yes.
even when I was doing some research yesterday, there are news articles written in 2015, 2017, 2018, talking about mRNA technology and saying this could be how we build vaccines very quickly.
Exactly.
So scientists have been thinking about this for a very long time.
That lady, Dr. Caroline, I want actually.
Yeah.
I want to meet her.
Definitely. So, Uncle, you touched on this a little bit in your explanation. So when people think about vaccines, they think about the flu vaccine. Which is very different from how the mRNA vaccine works. Exactly. So can you explain the difference of how it's not injecting the virus into your body, weakened, it's not the virus. So can you explain something, what's it different?
Thanks. Nice question, Merlin. So as I said, protein-based flu vaccine or polio vaccine or Gardasil cervical cancer vaccine, it's either attenuated virus or half, right? It is a virus injecting into you, right? And then that virus actually reaches your cell and will get into your nucleus. Remember this statement, that virus will enter into your nucleus, inform DNA to create the antibodies. Okay, that's the term. What is mRNA? RNA, it's a 4 nucleotide actually, you remember, and that nucleotide is programmed to tell the cell to create a protein. And in our body, billions of proteins are formed, right, every minute. In the lab, they coded, and this coding, our people are telling that's a gene chip. We can talk about that. Somebody put a chip on that. It's not a chip. It's a 4 nucleotide and a sequence of protein telling the cell to make a coronavirus spike, just the spike of coronavirus. And as soon as you inject the mRNA vaccine to your shoulder, in 30 seconds, mRNA is gone. And that is not a dead virus. And please assure, this mRNA is not getting into your nucleus, where your DNA is. That is the biggest question, right? Will it change my genetic and I'm changing into a monkey or a dog or this and all kind of question. So mRNA will never enter nucleus. But the other vaccines technology, the virus enters the nucleus actually. And this mRNA is very unstable. That's why Pfizer has to keep in minus 80 degree and Moderna has minus 20 degree. And I think in my career, I will never see something very, very efficacious and safer. I'm going to tell you are my people. I can tell. I'm not telling anybody else, right? This will be one of the most safest technology, maybe I will see in my life. Mm-hmm. It is live virus versus somebody telling to make a protein, one protein. That's it. And remember, when somebody get COVID, right? How many millions of virus you are inhaling? Almost, the viral load is too much. Here you are only making one virus. That's it.
Exactly. And the
day and night difference.
Definitely. And so mRNA, I know we're trying to make sure we're not using very difficult or scientific words. We want to speak to the lay people. No. So when I think of mRNA, like I think of mRNA, it is a list of instructions. It's like a recipe. Yes. And yes. It is a recipe that is telling the body how to make one very specific thing. And the way this spike protein, so you can think of the spike protein on the coronavirus, on the actual virus, almost like a name tag that you wear. It's not the actual virus. It's nothing that makes you sick, or it's just an identifier. Correct. And so the mRNA is a recipe on how to make COVID-19's name tag.
Exactly. That's it.
So then when the name tag is formed and the cell kind of shows this name tag and says, I've never seen this. What is this?
And
then your immune system will fight it.
And that comes the antibody in your body, right? And mRNA is gone. And that mRNA is sequenced in a way to only tell, okay, I only want to make this. RNA can make billions of protein, right? And at the end, I can tell you, either COVID-19 വേണ്ടി കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞെങ്കിലും എൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിലുള്ളത് ഈ ലേഡിയെ, how she survived this 30 years. I think next year you will hear some positive news from medical agency, right? Certain diseases, especially cancer, is treated, cured with this. At that time, we can have a party.
So it's a very, very powerful technology.
Yes.
So Uncle, I'm going to talk about the clinical trials a little bit, because we talked about kind of the testing, the drugs go through, what is used to get the approval. Focus on for clinical trials is safety and effectiveness, right? That is what they're checking. And then because we're in a pandemic, we're in an emergency situation, right? It's not like developing another diabetes drug or another cholesterol drug. We have to move kind of quickly. So they are balancing, is the drug safe and is it effective? And does it outweigh the risk of getting COVID ourselves, right?
That's correct.
That is why that moved quickly. So one question about the clinical trials. So clinical trials are often criticized in America for not being very diverse, right? So often clinical trials, it's mainly white people, mainly males, mainly young people. And so one of the big things everyone is very concerned about is, are people who look like me or who look like you going to be in the trial? And because we need to make sure it's safe for us as well. So can you tell us, was the clinical trial for these vaccines diverse? Did it include old people, young people, brown people, Black people?
Yeah, that's a nice question, Maril. And, really, I want to touch on that. And for a regular clinical trials, it's easy to get patients. And it's mainly phase 1 is medical doctors, they attend phase 1, phase 2, how many drugs I worked on, right? But idine, still government agencies said, one of the best agency I trust is FDA. They said this is safe, but people still don't want to take vaccine. So think about how you can get volunteers, right, at that time. And I knew that we need to get this vaccine as early. So in this trial, in Pfizer's trial, 49% were female, right? There were white male, 10% Black African-American, Hispanics were there, 4% Indians, right? And I can tell you, and then you have to get these volunteers overnight. You have no time to sit and think. You're 3,000 people dying every day. I got enrolled to Pfizer, I had to go 2 months to get enrolled, that they check everything. And then they said, okay, Kopara, can you get more people into that? And then I came back and I told my friends, some very, very top people, can you join this clinical trial? You know what they said? No, Binu, I won't join clinical trials. Can you tell me which stock market I should invest? So now world complain, you didn't get male, female, white, Black. Most of the people volunteer for this trial was white, Caucasian people, right? So, so I will never forget that they were asking me which. Actually, I told them where to invest, actually. They bought whatever it is, but they were not ready to come for a trial. So if everybody listening this year, volunteers, I need to only get permission from God. I told my wife, that's it. And somebody told my mom, my mom started, but either you cannot wait. So it was a diverse community, right? Now more people are enrolling. I'm in 2-year trial. So, Merle, there were 49% female in Pfizer trial.
Great, thank you. A follow-up question to that. So something our South Asian community is very sensitive to, we're predisposed to diabetes, different cardiovascular disease like high cholesterol, high BP. Were people with chronic conditions like that, like diabetes and high cholesterol, included in the trial? Is the vaccine safe for them too?
Yeah, so that's a nice question. There were people from all spectrum: blood pressure, diabetes, HIV, cancer. So except only one group was not included, is the pregnant woman, right? Was not involved in this trial, but otherwise you name it. But the number of patients, it was very small. As I said, people were not ready to, they were scared, but they had all the spectrum actually. Everybody in this.
Okay, great. And yeah, one thing I'll add, when I was doing my research, both trials, both Moderna and Pfizer, were very, very diverse. They included people with chronic conditions, included older people as well. I think both of them, I think about 25% of trial participants were over 65 years old. And the efficacy, how good the vaccine is, it was equally efficacious, equally good for everyone. It's not like for one population it didn't work as well. So this very high number, 94 to 95% efficacy, is for everyone who's involved in the trial.
Exactly. So if vaccine kuറിച്ച് ella launch ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്ന vaccine, including my I got surprised, the cervical cancer vaccine, it's only 50% actually. If you look at every vaccine is 50%. This is 95% because of this technology. And I want to add this. They already said it, there is another variant coming and everything, right? This vaccine is working for that variant. And I can tell you, they can tweak within an hour. If we have to go to protein base, this will take another 3 years to go for another one. So all the spectrum is covered. I can tell you that even ages 12 to 15, there were 1,000 kids actually. 56 plus was 17,000. And everybody, it was 95%. So how did this 95% came? They took 170 from the crowd. I don't want to go through statistics. They took 170. In the vaccine group, only 8 people had COVID and mild symptom. But in the placebo group, 162 people got COVID. So that came up to 95% efficacy, this vaccine actually.
And I know we got a lot of questions about kind of the word is contraindications, so people that shouldn't take the vaccine. So I just want to be clear that the Pfizer vaccine is approved for those 16 and up, and the Moderna vaccine is approved for those 18 and up. Most health conditions are included. The only contraindication, and Uncle, I want you to check me on this. The only folks who should not take the vaccine right now, based on CDC guidance, are those who have a history of a severe allergic reaction after receiving the first dose of an mRNA vaccine. So I want to be clear here. So even people that might have a severe bee allergy or a nut allergy that carry the EpiPen, of course, you should talk to your doctor and kind of make sure you're making the right decision for your personal situation. But even them, the CDC is not saying don't take it. It's just you need to take extra precautions and make sure you talk to your doctor.
All this negative, we can talk about that later, who is coming with this negative thing. I will tell you at the end what's happening right now. But anaphylactic reaction, right? Even severe. Today, somebody took that and they have the EpiPen and they have to wait. If you take the vaccine, you have to wait there 20 minutes, right? I can tell you right now, this mRNA is coated with a nanoparticle. Actually, that formulation is the one causing this anaphylactic reaction, okay? And Pfizer and Moderna approved. But a lot of people are taking with severe reaction, but you need that pen. You have to sit there and you need that pen, okay?
Exactly. And if you have never had an allergic reaction before to a vaccine or anything else, there is no reason to believe that this vaccine is going to give it to you. So I want to dispel that belief.
And don't, again, this is a normal conversation. Don't read anybody writing on WhatsApp, social media. Please talk to your doctor, please, right? Or I can share a lot of articles. You read it. Don't get misguided. There's a religious group right now. I don't want to name them. They are against us, and I will tell you why it is. Right? They are completely against us. So anybody with an allergic reaction can take it, but you have to sit there.
Exactly. And everyone, after you get the vaccine, they monitor you for 15 minutes. And if you are
15 to 20 minutes.
Yep.
So my wife took her first dose, and the second dose, she took it last week, and in the night it was terrible. She had a terrible hand pain, and she had chill, and she couldn't sleep. And I don't want to laugh there, and she will slap me, right? But in my mind I was thinking, are you a vaccine work, right? And Ravli, she is fine. So what do you take? You take a hand pain or a chill, or you die. This is the side effect people are complaining. I lost a friend at 44. He was 47, right? He will rather take the hand pain and chill rather. So my wife got severe hand pain and chill in the night. So don't worry. In the morning, you will be done.
Okay, great. And then, so I'm going to continue on kind of your train of thought of talking about anti-side effects. So many of our parish members are healthcare workers. Many have already taken the vaccine. Some have been given the opportunity and are thinking about, should I take it? So can you share some just more information about the vaccine and possible side effects? What to expect when you get the vaccine?
So the side effect, what I'm hearing right now from everybody, including my own wife, and my son also got it. Noah also got the vaccine from hospital. So the first dose, once you take first dose, you don't feel anything. It's only 50% covered, okay? You can get COVID after first dose, okay? So please wear your mask, right? It's only after 92nd dose, you are covered for 95%. So it's mainly the hand pain, and you get the chill, and you get the headache. Right? If you look at 98% of side effect is that, right? Only 2 people got cerebral palsy in England, right? 3 or 4 people, but they looked at the history. Everybody had severe allergic reactions, right? Previously, right? So there was a note yesterday that a doctor died. Meryl, you know that in Florida. Right, and that's mainly because of platelet aggression, and they are trying to relate this to vaccine. And I can tell you, because my people, they can't relate that. So even if it is right that doctor died because of platelet loss and all that, think about 10 million people took the vaccine, 1 person died. Here 3,500 people dying every day because so benefit over risk. But ellarum assured kai vedana edukum pani verin rathri oru chill, that's at 99.9%.
Yeah, so then a couple more details about the vaccine. Of course, I think everyone knows now it's 2 doses. You get the first one, and then for Pfizer, after 3 weeks, you get the second dose. For Moderna, after 4 weeks, you get the second dose. So it's a little different. And then, so people have seen on the news or seen online that these vaccines need to be stored very cold. That is why you're not seeing the Pfizer vaccine at CVS, right? The CVS doesn't have the very high technology freezers to keep it cold like that. So that's why it's taking a little while to roll these out, because there's technology that's needed in order to keep the vaccine safe and effective. Another thing I'll add is it's been reported that usually after the second dose, you might feel the side effect more. A lot of people, maybe they don't feel much after the first dose, but after the second dose, they have like the fever and the chills. And again, that's how your immune system fights an enemy or an invader, right?
Exactly.
When you get sick, when you get the cold or the flu, you're getting a virus, and your body literally raises your temperature to kill the virus. Like, that is it working. That's how your immune system works.
Yes, that's what it's telling. I wanted to laugh, but being crying with the brain, but the vaccine is working. The question about -80 and -20 degrees centigrade. എല്ലാവരും അറിഞ്ഞിരിക്കണം. സോ നമ്മുടെ mRNA എന്ത് സേഫ് ആണെന്ന് ആലോചിച്ച് നോക്ക്. ആ -80, I used to save human liver. I had a lot of -8, still I have. We save human liver there, right? So if you don't store in that -80, mRNA get destroyed. So think about, you touch your skin, mRNA is gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
It's not your live virus. So think about how safe it is. right? That's what I registered my younger son also to get vaccine.
So, and then another question. So a lot of people ask, so we hear that it's 95% effective. How long after I get the vaccine do I get to 95% effective? You kind of touched on that earlier.
Yeah, it's first it's the 50%, right? First 2 weeks, and then after 20, Pfizer is coming back, not 21 days. You can get much. Bina got before that. So after that, you wait 1 more week. So almost a 30 days period, you are covered in 95%, right? That's what I'm telling everybody. Ellarum vaccine edukkunna povunavaru ellarum mask ittonu, right? We will get to that question later, right?
Yeah.
So after 30-35 days, you are 95% covered. But one patient, or no, eight of them got COVID after first dose, but it was, but nobody reported yet COVID after second dose.
Yeah. So basically, for the first dose, after you get the first dose, it usually, on average, for people, it takes about 10 days to get to peak immunity. So after your first dose, your peak immunity is about 50% effective.
Exactly.
For after the second dose, after another 10 days after the second dose, you'll get to about 90, 94, 95% effective.
Never in the history of medicine.
Yeah.
95%. You always stay at 50%, and we eradicated polio, measles, mumps, everything, right? So hepatitis B vaccine came from Merck, I remember.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Uncle. Like a lot of the flu vaccines that we take every year, or the measles vaccine or the polio vaccine that we give all our children, right?
Yes.
A lot of those are usually between 40 and 60% effective. This vaccine is 95%.
That's it. And still there is nothing else, right? Only the flu, people are not working because it mutates, right? That's a problem.
Exactly. Okay. So then the next question is about booster shots. So a lot of people are worried, how long will my 95% immunity last after I get the vaccine? Is this going to be like the flu vaccine where I have to take it every year? What do you think, Uncle?
So that's a nice question that we won't get an answer right now, but in lab, all the computer modelers, right? It's not only biologists and biochemists, you know that it's a model. With the prediction we had, it will get 2 to 3 years coverage, but you need data. We scientists believe in data, don't talk. We need to see the data, right? So it's only 1 year right now, 8 months into clinical trials. But next year end, we can tell it is covered 2 years. I think it will go up to 2 years, but I can tell you right now, Pfizer is coming up with 1 dose vaccine. And then again, people tell, people want to make money, so they will come with every year vaccine. But I don't believe this is nothing to do with money. Pfizer is giving free, actually. So, Maril, that question, now we know it is covered up to 8 to 9, 1 year. We have to wait a couple more months to see.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is still brand new, right? Like we've done the research, and Pfizer and Moderna, as people are getting vaccines, they're continuing to do research as well. So
I'm in 2 year. I am in 2 year 2 year trial. I am. So mine is only 6 months completed. So I have in a 2 years. So they will monitor me, and more people are getting there, right? Almost 10 million too. So we will have more data next year at this time, Maril. We will know. A lot of data will come in. So.
And again, right, the core point here is you need to weigh the benefit and the risk, right? There's the risk of COVID, right? We know that folks have died. We know it can become very severe, and we know it's unpredictable how it'll act in your body. It's not like only old people get very sick or only people with chronic conditions. So it's about weighing the risks and benefits of the vaccine. We know it's safe. We know it's effective. There's still some data we're hoping to get. We don't know everything about it. But in the current emergency situation, the benefits of the vaccine outweigh the risks.
Exactly. So, Cherry Lane, Sean, Mom Maricha, he was 21 or 23, the spectrum, look at the ages, right? So even doctors cannot tell. The one is heart attack, one has a brain clot, So that's what emergency situation came. And now I'm also working on a pancreatic cancer, and that's another miracle will come out from this company. Pancreatic cancer, 6 months. You only live 6 months. Steve Jobs, right? 6 months. Yeah. But it didn't go through phase 1 or phase. It all went to phase 3 right now, because you know why? Patient have 6 months. Let's see.
Exactly.
They can increase their lifespan. So somebody on the trial is 5 years extended actually, and you will see that news very soon. So FDA approved emergency authorization to patient. Benefit over risk there.
So another question that we're getting a lot, we've been talking about both of the vaccines as if they're the same thing. So a lot of folks are asking, you know, is there a difference between the Pfizer vaccine and the Moderna vaccine? Is one better for certain people or all people? Any thoughts, Uncle?
It is the same 4 nucleotide with a sequence. Only thing the formulation, right, is changed. Like Tylenol, if you take, explain Tylenol, Tylenol 250 milligram, but the coat excipients to dissolve in your body is 500 milligram. The formulation is a difference. So Pfizer needed -80, they needed -20. There is no difference between the science, nothing at all.
Yeah, basically the packaging is the only thing that's different, right?
And the thing is that Pfizer has marketing power, right? You hear, oh, Pfizer's drug, right? That's what I want, right? It's a marketing thing, but it's same.
They're very similar, and the data shows that on
very
the
same.
efficacy.
You know, it's on top of each other. So.
Okay, great. So I want to change the conversation just a little bit for 2 questions. So one of the biggest impacts of the pandemic has been on our children, right? We know kids are less likely to get severe illness, but because of lockdowns, a lot of children are on online school. So, you know, there's social development issues, emotional, intellectual, of, you know, being away from kids your age for so long. So I think a question that a lot of parents have is, you know, our kids can't get the vaccine, but will vaccinating adults like teachers and principals and the custodial staff that work in the school, will this vaccine help our kids get to school faster?
Yes, so that's a nice question, right? It will be a requirement for all the teachers to take that, right? It's to go, because this is not approved for children, but in 6 months it will be approved for children, and you know, a lot of children are going to take that. That's what my son is is 23, but my 18-year-old, we registered for him. He got an appointment, right? So again, benefit over risk, right? You know, I don't know if they get sick. I don't know what happened. So children will get it by the summer, or so. Again, all our children took so many vaccines, and I think if I get a chance to give my children mRNA vaccine for polio, measles, mumps, and everything, I will tell, I don't want any virus vaccine. I want mRNA vaccine. So that's what I will do. So if I had a little one, I will definitely myself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So since there isn't a pediatric vaccine available now, right now the focus is on community spread, right? We want to get the infection rate in the community low. That is going to be the trigger that will open the door so that students can go back to school in person. And the vaccine is a key tool in reducing our community spread, because it means fewer people can get the illness and become very sick from it.
Exactly.
Great. Okay, so Uncle, you mentioned this earlier, but I want to touch on it very quickly. So there's a lot of worry about new mutations of the virus. So coming from Brazil, South Africa, Britain, all of these, will these vaccines be effective against the new mutations?
Yeah, that's what the other very nice question. That's what it is. You know, they are in Africa, England, now in India and everything, right? So again, if we were on protein-based vaccine, man, we have to go to lab and again check, you know, everything. But this Pfizer announced their vaccine is working on all these mutants actually already working that. So no second. But if something 180-degree changes in this virus next year, right? We can go to the lab, test tube and time. We can do this in an hour, because just telling that protein, okay, this is the guy. Don't have to worry. We are covered.
Great. Yeah, and the way I think about, so mutations, right? What is a mutation? A mutation happens when a virus is replicating, right? So
Exactly.
we might remember from
Yes.
middle school science, the cell divides and divides and divides, right?
Yeah.
So a mutation happens when a cell is making a photocopy of their DNA and they make a mistake.
Exactly.
That is all a mutation is.
Yeah.
And so mutations happen all the time.
Exactly.
This virus has mutated many times.
Yes.
It is only these particular mutations are showing up in the news. And what's good about this vaccine is that it's called polyclonal treatment.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that means it doesn't only know one way to fight the illness. It has a toolbox. It has multiple different ways. So just one change in the virus is not going to make the vaccine ineffective.
No, if it makes that, I'm telling you, we are here with this platform in a day. We will. That's what with this mRNA platform, right? So we don't have to worry. We are assured this is a man-made virus. I can please you're recording, right? Man-made, and so God saved us actually. So mutation, don't worry about it. Pfizer's vaccine right now, it's working, but there is more vaccine coming, right? Merck and Johnson. I don't want to.
J&J, Janssen,
is more powerful than coming. So it's okay.
Definitely, yeah. And the way I like to explain the concern about the variant or the mutation, the mRNA, again, it's a recipe on how to make something. So the way I like to think about it is it's a set of directions. So if you have to go somewhere, right, you already have the car. You don't build a new car every time you need to go to church or work or the grocery store. You just need to know where you're going.
Yes.
So that like we can quickly change it if the virus significantly changes.
Exactly. We can do that in a day, actually, a day or two. It's the technology it is.
Yep. Okay, great. So Uncle, we're coming up on 2:30. I might ask for your grace. We might go a little longer, but I'm gonna ask a couple more questions, and we're gonna try to do this kind of a rapid fire style, a little quicker.
Meryl, before you go that, let me tell you this pregnant, I told you that it was not in the trial, but and nobody want to be in trial, right? It's ethic. But if you read somebody from Canada, a gynecologist doctor, she's pregnant and she recommended, she took the vaccine. She's pregnant and she took the vaccine. She's a gynecologist recommending her because again, the risk causing to the fetus is by COVID is more than a side effect by mRNA vaccine. That's what her thought is, and she took it.
Great. Yeah, and that was actually my last question before we get into the rapid fire. Should pregnant or nursing women take the vaccine?
So that's a trial going on, right? They include people now, so it's going on, right?
Yep, exactly, and that's very common for clinical trials.
One got seriously ill. Now they are thinking, but this Canada news, it's very, she took it. She sees patient and she thinks she can save. The risk is much higher getting COVID, treating all these patients. So she took it.
Exactly, and it's very common in clinical trials. In clinical trials, you don't include pregnant people in the first trials you do. This is not something that was special for the vaccine. That is common procedure. You don't include pregnant people in the first trial. So now they're starting it, and even people who participated in the trial already, there are I don't remember the exact number, but there are people who have gotten pregnant after taking the vaccine.
Yeah.
So of course, if you are pregnant or thinking about becoming pregnant, you have an established relationship with your doctor. Ask them, and just make sure you get the advice. But many OBGYNs, many of my personal friends who are OBGYNs are recommending that their patients take it, just because the COVID virus can be so severe for both mom and for baby if you do get it.
Sure. Please ask the expert, right? Recommended, right? Don't read this WhatsApp and all that. Ask a doctor,
exactly,
or health professional.
And one more related question. So a WhatsApp thing I've been seeing a lot is, can the COVID-19 vaccine cause infertility among women?
Okay, so that's the another question, right? We need 2 to 3, 4 years, right? And this is the question a nurse raised to me and asked me, you know, about fertility. And, you know, this is my question. Okay, don't get എല്ലാവരും angry ആവരുത് കേട്ടോ. ഇതാ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് കേട്ടോ. ഫെർട്ടിലിറ്റിയുടെ ചോദ്യം വന്നപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ ഉത്തരം ഇതാണ്. Okay, my age is done, right? I'm 50 plus. I don't care. I don't care എന്നല്ല, I don't want a wife. പക്ഷെ എനിക്ക് 2 ആൺപിള്ളേരുണ്ട്. My first job is to make sure they are safe, right? Other, you know, I worry about my next generation. I agree, right? But right now, how do we protect, right? So, but again, the woman either trial നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. That's a reasonable question. If young people, my neighbor is very young. They have only 1 child. They don't want to take vaccine. You know, they are worried. I don't blame, but what is the guarantee? Both, one is a respiratory therapist. What is the guarantee you don't get it and, you know, you're gone, right? But it's a genuine question, actually.
Definitely, and they're doing the studies now, and one thing that I will address, there is one kind of myth about the vaccine impacting being a protein that presenting a protein that is similar to a placenta protein that helps form the placenta around the baby. So I will say this is a rumor. There is no scientific evidence that the COVID-19 vaccine will impact placenta development around the baby. The reason this came up is because this placenta protein looks a little bit similar to the spike protein that the vaccine develops, but they are not the same thing, and the body knows how to tell the difference. The body is not going to fight this placenta protein. That is a myth. That is incorrect. That it will affect any placental development.
90% of,
so I'm going to get
90% of this is coming is fake myths and everything, and all the women, you know, people took all this vaccine and they have babies and everything, and nothing happened. And I think I will take a mRNA vaccine anytime. Not if they give me a chance to take polio vaccine, I will take mRNA before, not that.
Definitely. All right, so I'm going to ask a couple quick questions, and we're going to try to do this quickly. So can you get COVID-19 from the vaccine?
After first dose, yes, but after second dose, as you see, only 8. After first dose, only 8 people got, and it was very mild. After second dose, no one is reported yet.
Yep, and just to add on to that, taking the vaccine is not injecting COVID-19 into you, right? We've said this multiple times. It is not putting the virus in you. You can potentially get COVID-19 after getting the vaccine because it takes some time for your body to build immunity. Exactly. But getting the vaccine does not give you COVID-19.
Not at all.
And another point, after you get the COVID vaccine, because getting the vaccine, you will not test positive for COVID-19 unless you get COVID-19 from somewhere else.
Exactly.
Okay. Next question. Can I, if I have a cold or if I have a sore throat on the day I'm supposed to get the vaccine, can I still get the vaccine?
Yeah, but that's okay. Doctor will decide, right? They have to test for you. If you are COVID positive, they won't give it to you, right? But if it is negative, you can take it, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, and that's normal guidance for any vaccine. If you're any sick beyond a cold, like if you have a fever or chills or anything like that, hold off. Hold off.
Please. Your doctor will tell you that, right? Trust him. Okay.
Yep. Next question. After I get the vaccine and after I develop, you know, my peak immunity, do I still have to wear a mask or social distance or stay at home when necessary?
Again, this is like heard, right? You know, the number like 80% worldwide population should need to get this vaccine. Then, you know, we can remove our mask. But, you know, I can tell you my requirement, I don't wear mask because I'm in trial. Okay, I can give you quoted. For the trial participant, we cannot wear a mask, right? I go to a wedding function, but put the mask. Why I'm telling you is this, right? I did experiment all my life. Normally, hospital, I trust all the para staff, right? In the Bina Parayva, while when they try to make, they can make a mistake adding the saline and all mixing up, right? What if somebody didn't make the dose correct, right? That's why I'm telling, just wear a mask until summer, right? Until most of the people get the vaccine.
Okay. Yeah. And then something that I like to explain is, the vaccine is one piece of the puzzle. It's one of the ways that we can fight the virus, but we need to use multiple. And especially when we're early in the vaccine rollout, healthcare workers are getting the vaccine, but people like me, I work at home, I'm young, I'm going to be the last person on the list to get it. So it's our responsibility as we start getting the vaccine to understand that a lot of folks still haven't gotten it yet.
Exactly.
So it is our responsibility to keep folks safe, because something that the research is still looking at is if you get the vaccine, if you have immunity, can you still get it but not have any symptoms, but possibly spread it? And we don't know yet from the research. So it's important to do
that's a nice question. The spreading one, right? Think about the spread team. I got the vaccine, but still I can spread. But just a common question. You got, COVID vaccine, and you got virus, like 1,000 unit of virus, you got it, right? But what your antibody doing in your body? They already, neutralizing your COVID. So the risk of you giving to somebody with the vaccine, you may be given one virus, but I will give million of virus. Right? Spreading again, how do you do that trial? It may be like 2-3 years, but I think a spreading thing will be very minimal because your body is already antibody, neutralized the antigen. So.
Okay, great. And then, so next question is, if I already got COVID and recovered from COVID, do I still need to get the vaccine?
Please, right? You recovered, you have an antibody, or you had the Roche treatment or his treatment, everything. Yes, your doctor will check the antibody and everything. And again, the question coming, how long this antibody lasts, right? People are getting second time, right?
Yeah.
Please, if you don't wait, if you can take it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you were infected with COVID, or if you were exposed, perhaps a family member got COVID and you were exposed, maybe you didn't get sick, you might have some antibodies, but that is called natural immunity from getting sick. And we don't really know how long the natural immunity lasts, but it's likely that the immunity from the vaccine perhaps is stronger and maybe lasts longer. So if you have COVID and recovered, or were exposed and recovered, still get the vaccine. Please. And then Uncle, you mentioned the antibody treatment and the convalescent plasma. So you all remember when Donald Trump got COVID-19, he got all of those medications, right?
Exactly.
So if you received the antibody treatment or convalescent plasma, what the CDC recommends is you should still get the vaccine, but only 90 days after you get the antibody treatment, just so the drugs don't kind of fight and conflict with each other.
Exactly. So that's correct. Actually, wait for that. In 90 days you take. But if you have COVID, right? You have COVID today, you cannot get a vaccine. Okay?
Exactly.
Please.
Yeah. So the vaccine is not a treatment. If you currently have COVID, you can't get the vaccine. You take it previous. It's a prevention.
Exactly.
Okay, next question that I have is, should immunocompromised people get the vaccine? So immunocompromised in any way, maybe they've had cancer, or they're on any immunosuppressant, should they get the vaccine?
So they were in the trial, actually should take cancer patient or HIV/AIDS patient, right? They were in the trial, and actually they are prone, their infection will get severe, right? Yeah. So what to lose? I have cancer, and I don't want to die with the other one, so I will rather than take a vaccine. So they are in the trial and they took the vaccine.
Exactly. And I'll always say, Binu Uncle and I, we're not doctors, right? Yeah, if you are immunocompromised and you're thinking about getting the vaccine, talk to your doctor, because they understand your unique situation. Folks with HIV were included in the study, but there wasn't that much representation of people with maybe like MS or lupus. I didn't see that much in the trial. So it's important to talk to your doctor about it. But Binu Uncle's point is very important. People who are immunosuppressed have a weaker immune system. So if you get the virus, it's probably going to be worse for you. So it's important to, again, weigh the benefits and the risk and your current personal situation.
Exactly. So the overall on this study is like, somebody mentioned, first play the game and then learn how to play that's what happening right now. Your science was there, but the first time it went to human, right? It's only 9 months. Give us 2 to 3 years and, and there will be a lot of answers for this. And I think a lot of cancers will be cured with this technology. Trust me.
So, Uncle, next question. You mentioned this word before. I want to make sure people understand it. Can you explain what herd immunity is and how long you think it'll take for us to get to herd immunity with COVID?
Herd immunity is that once, according to Fauci, right, 80% of the people, right, in a country has to get this vaccinated. Right? Otherwise, you take 50%, other 50% don't have that. They are spreading each other, right? So 80%, that's a number. 80% of the people has to get that. Otherwise, you cannot open anything yet. But I will reach there.
I think we'll get to herd immunity, 70 or 80%. Do you have a prediction?
Exactly. Yes, we will because remember when Gardasil came, a lot of I don't want to get there. There were a lot of opposition to given to women. Yeah. You know that, but now it become mandatory. So, right?
Exactly, and right. So.
And again, Saji, I was talking to your uncle, and I can tell you right now, people who are people are ready to pay $25,000 to get vaccinated. People are flying from India to London and paying money to get vaccinated. Right, and they are coming to America. London, they are called tourist thing. People are ready to pay money, and when it is offered free, why are you waiting?
And so the idea, kind of what Binu Uncle explained, the idea of herd immunity is that enough people are protected, whereas if they get the illness, they won't get sick. And we're still looking at research on that, but herd immunity is a fundamental theory in public health and vaccination, because we know that maybe everyone, 100% of people can't get the vaccine, right? Like some that they can't because they have the allergic reaction and all of that. So it is the responsibility of those who can get the vaccine to get it. And the idea is if enough people get the vaccine and we achieve herd immunity, which is between 70 to 80% infected, then the virus cannot live, right? The virus cannot live on its own. It needs to find a host to live in it. So if enough people have protection from it, the virus will die.
Exactly. That's what, every government is trying for that to get, but, I feel bad that some people are against. And why against is, I will tell you in my end statement, why they are because they want to destroy us. So that's the thing. And somebody is benefited financially, and they are taking advantage of this.
And Uncle, do you have I think one of the most common questions I'm seeing is, when do you think we can get back to normal? Do you have a prediction on when we'll get to herd immunity, when other vaccines will come out? When do you think we can all come back to church, in the full group?
So the major problem for the science, as I said, the science was established, right? Only it didn't go to human. But remember, the manufacturing of this was, all of a sudden, Pfizer has to make a -80 thing, -20. And all over the world, we don't have facility for Pfizer. I work for Pfizer too, right? So now they are using Belgium and in the US. So the manufacturing thing is the roadblock right now. Yeah. So the end of summer, we will have more doses. And I think give it until July or August. More people will take, and slowly things will open up, right? People are, look at my wife, she want to go to Costco right now, not where. No. Confidence, right? The fear is gone, right?
Yeah.
Think about that, right? Our Lord helped. That's what I want to say at the end, right? Our Lord.
Great, and I know we've gone over time a little bit, so I thank you all for staying on the YouTube and watching us, and Binu Uncle for staying. So last last two questions. So last question. Would you recommend taking the vaccine?
Yes, even if you're recording, you should say that I honestly telling, please, if you get an opportunity, please take it. lot of people, my friend, doctors, right? Recently, a couple of doctors and all dying. The biochem pathophysiology, it's not explained. Somebody get clot, somebody getting this, somebody renal failure. One of our church member renal failure.
From COVID.
Exactly. And like 54. When our God gave, I really tell this is a miracle hand, Almighty's hand, helping that that Hungarian lady not to give it up, never give up, right? Helping us and gave us a hope. I never thought we will get a vaccine in 9 months, not at all. So we gave it to us. Please, anybody about Merle, I'm not telling you, right? If you're working on, take it. Anybody 40 and above, why we worry right now? Just take it. Let's get the world back. What is the drawback? Now look at this Zoom. I travel a lot. Right now, I'm not traveling, right? How many business is gone? Hotel industry, airline industry, so many. Namada palligal. I'm going to bring it right now. This they're going on. They just need a hall and do a Zoom meeting. Namada devalayingal. And next generation don't want to go to church. Come on, is this a platform? So we have to fight for this. We have to get vaccine, and we have to bring everything should start. We want everything back. For almost 30% of people lost their job. Somebody is making money on this, right? Like Zoom and who don't have to go to work and sit home from and work. I'm blessed. From day one, my garbage guy is coming and picking up the garbage. Look at all the essential working going to work. We need to help them. We need to give them a break.
Yeah,
right?
agree.
I'm sorry, Acha, but what I'm thinking, whatever it is, our God, Almighty was there to, show us a way. So our way, let's move forward. And my thing is that don't talk to anybody who doesn't know. Don't read this. Talk to your doctor.
Okay, great. Yes, definitely. That is the big thing I'll say at the end. We are speaking based on the science, on the research, and then our knowledge and our experience. But if you have questions, feel free to ask us, but also talk to your doctor. If you have a complex medical history, or if you have any sort of unique situation, talk to your doctor, because not any doctor, talk to your doctor, because they understand your situation best. So,
exactly. And my Saji and Merle, you have my phone number, and any question comes in any night, if you want to talk to a specialist, I will connect everybody. And you can talk to I'm giving a Canada show, a rodeo show next week. And then I'm bringing some big scientists and everybody and talk, right? Big means, always, think, I was fortunate to work with this great minds, right? They can talk. So that's it. And, please, if you have a chance, take the vaccine, and let's get the world. Let's get our church open. Let's get our teenagers back. They are dependent.
So thank you, Binu Uncle. Thank you so much for your time. I learned a lot. I really enjoyed this conversation. Before I pass it on to Joe Uncle and Achin and Saji Uncle for the vote of thanks, I will say we got so many questions. We couldn't get to all of them. So what I'm doing is I am taking every single one of your questions and I'm writing the answer to it, and I'm finding the CDC source or the FDA source, and I'm putting it all in there. It's going to take me a couple of days because you had a lot of questions. But once it's done, I will send it to Achin to share with the church, and I'll put my information in there, maybe Binu Uncle, maybe your email or something. I'm volunteering you for this. But we want to make sure you all have the information. We want to make sure you all felt like your questions were answered.
Thank you, Marilyn. I want all the youngsters like you to step up right now, and people, and then let's get the world back. And Devan Kanichanna oru vazhi. Right. And, I trust my Lord, and I was so fortunate to get enrolled and part of this study, actually.
Well, thank you, Uncle. I'm going to pass it on.
Somebody was asking me how much money you got. That's my trial is running in Princeton, actually. I only get the toll money, car toll, All
right. Well, thank you, Uncle. I'm going to pass it on to Joe Uncle for the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Achin, Saji, and all the church members. And if I get an opportunity, I will definitely come there. Just pray for everybody, all the doctors and nurses. And man, I feel so bad for them. They need a break.
Great.
Hi, thank you, Binu. So I will go to the word of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank our speaker, Mr. Binu Samuel, for his valuable discussion regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. He is doing the discussion in different media about the COVID vaccine, and with his expertise in trial and research of the vaccine, it really gave a real testimony regarding the vaccine. It was really helpful in answering all the questions we had in mind. And if anybody didn't get an answer for their questions, we will send it over to them. Thank you for taking your time to do the discussion today on behalf of the St. Mary's family, administration, and the Men's Forum. I really thank Mr. Binu Samuel. I also want to thank Achin and Kochama for the guidance. Also thanks to the church administration and the managing committee for their support. I'd also like to thank my special thanks to the MC of today's discussion, Merrill Pothen, who did a really outstanding job of hosting the event and making sure the event was run smooth and successful as possible. Also, special thanks to Saji and Pothen for bringing Mr. Binu Samuel for today's discussion. Also, my special mention to Men's Forum Secretary, Mr. Samuel Matthew. Achin, any words?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. I just want to emphasize what Binu and Merrill was telling. Whatever we heard here is just for information. Don't take it as anything like a Bible verse or a medical thing or anything. We just answered your questions the best way we can. And a person just like giving you testimony because he was involved in firsthand, with it. He was giving you information. What Merrill was emphasizing and Binu was emphasizing, if you still have a question, go and talk to your doctor or call your doctor. And because you may be entirely different from these categories we were talking about. So we will not be liable, I want to use that word, for anything. And once again, we are so proud of you. Binuinte കൊപ്പറ എന്ന് കേട്ടപ്പോഴേ ഞാൻ കൊപ്പറ അച്ഛന് ചന്ദനപ്പള്ളിയൊക്കെ എനിക്ക് കണക്ഷൻസ് ഉള്ളതാണ്. എനിക്ക് നിങ്ങളുടെ ഫാമിലി ഒക്കെ അറിയാം. അച്ഛന്റെ മോളെ ഞാൻ ഓർക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അതുപോലെ വളരെ നിങ്ങളുടെ കുടുംബത്തിലെ എനിക്കറിയാം.
എന്റെ ഗ്രാൻഡ് ഫാദറിന്റെ അനിയനാണ്, ഏറ്റവും ഉള്ള അനിയനാണ്.
ഓക്കെ, ദൈവം അനുഗ്രഹിക്കട്ടെ. ഞാൻ അവിടെ നിങ്ങളുടെ വീട്ടിലൊക്കെ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്, ചന്ദ്രപ്പള്ളി, ഞാൻ ചെറുപ്രായത്തിലൊക്കെ. ദൈവം അനുഗ്രഹിക്കട്ടെ. നമ്മുടെ കൂട്ടത്തിൽ ഒരാൾ ഇങ്ങനെ ഇത് ചെയ്തു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞപ്പം അങ്ങേയറ്റം സന്തോഷം. When things change, maybe like in 1 or 2 months or 3 months or something like that, by that time, if you're not too busy at that time, നമുക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ ഇതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഒരു Zoom meeting വേണമെങ്കിൽ വെക്കാം. അല്ല, when things get back to normal, just like you said, come to our church as with your wife and your children. We are so indebted to you. We really want to thank you for all the good things. Merrill, excellent. I know that I can see that you did some homework. I like people, working for when they take the responsibility. She is very knowledgeable, but at the same time, she specifically, spent her time to do the homework, and she prepared and coordinated. You can see even, the meeting is going to be over by 2:30. Even at that time, people were sending questions, but she did a good job. We're so proud of you. And everyone, Saji Pothen, Joe, everyone who are involved with this one, Men's Forum, അതിന്റെ ചുമതലയുള്ള സാമ, അതിലെല്ലാവരും ദൈവനാമത്തിൽ ഓർക്കും. നമുക്കൊരു ഷോർട്ടായിട്ട് ഒരു പ്രാർത്ഥന പറഞ്ഞ് നമുക്ക് അവസാനിപ്പിക്കാം. At this time, let us think about all those people who are taking vaccination. Think about all those people, they are sick, recovered. ഒരു നിമിഷം ഏതെങ്കിലും ഫാമിലി മെമ്പേഴ്സ് നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ട കുടുംബങ്ങളുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അവരെയൊക്കെ ദൈവത്തിന്റെ സ്ഥാനത്തിൽ ഓർക്കാം. കൃത്യമായിട്ട് ഈ വാക്സിന് വേണ്ടി വർക്ക് ചെയ്ത ആളുകൾ, അവരുടെ എക്സ്പെർട്ടൈസ്, അവരുടെ സയന്റിഫിക് നോളജ് ആൻഡ് ദ ടൈം ദേ സ്പെൻഡ് ഓൺ ഇറ്റ്, അവരെയൊക്കെ ദൈവത്തിന്റെ സ്ഥാനത്തിൽ ഓർത്ത് എല്ലാ ലോകത്തിനും, ലോകാസമസ്ത സുഖന ഭവന്തു, എല്ലാ ലോകത്തിനും അനുഗ്രഹം ഉണ്ടാകട്ടെ, നന്മ ഉണ്ടാകട്ടെ, സൗഖ്യം ഉണ്ടാകട്ടെ. Love of God the Father, grace of the Son, communion and the indwelling of the Holy Spirit be with all of us especially with those people that were participating in it, and for with Bino and Merrill and every one of us, now and always, forever and ever. Thank you so much for those who are participating in this YouTube Zoom meeting. God bless everyone. Stay safe. God bless you. Sachi, any closing?
Yeah, officially, Joe already voter thanks for Jenkil Poland. Just wanted to say a word of thanks to Binu Samuel. വളരെ ബിസി ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആളാണ്. ഇന്ന് എയർപോർട്ടിൽ പോയി ബ്രദറിനെ പറ്റി പല കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഐ നോ. സോ ബട്ട് സ്റ്റിൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഫോൺ കോൾ ഞാൻ ബിനുവിനെ വിളിച്ചപ്പോൾ പറഞ്ഞു ഡോണ്ട് വറി അബൌട്ട് ഇറ്റ്. I'm happy to do it. So thank you, Binu. Really, it was really നമുക്കൊരു കോസി ഫാമിലി അറ്റ്മോസ്ഫിയർ ചർച്ചിന് വേണ്ടി റിയലി ചെയ്ത ആ ഒരു രീതിയിൽ ഒരു ഒഫീഷ്യൽ ഒന്നും അല്ലാത്ത രീതിയിൽ റിയലി താങ്ക് യു. മെറൽ, യു വെന്റ് ബിയോണ്ട് ദ ലിമിറ്റ് ആൻഡ് ബിയോണ്ട് ദ മൈൽ. താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച്. എസ്പെഷ്യലി അച്ഛനാണെങ്കിലും ഒറ്റയടിക്ക് തന്നെ നമുക്ക് ഇതൊരു നല്ല കാര്യമാണ്. അച്ഛന് ഇന്നിപ്പോ അടുത്തത് സൺഡേ സ്കൂൾ 10 മിനിറ്റ് തുടങ്ങാൻ പോവാണ്. സ്റ്റിൽ ബിസി സ്കെഡ്യൂളിന്റെ അകത്ത് ഇതെല്ലാം അക്കോമഡേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് എവരിബഡി അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ മെൻസ് ഫോറത്തിന് വേണ്ടി താങ്ക് യു. സെക്രട്ടറി ബിസി ആയിരുന്നു, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാൻ ജസ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റെപ്പ് ഇൻ ചെയ്തത്. താങ്ക് യു. എല്ലാവരും.
Thank you, Saji.
God bless everyone. God bless everyone. Thank you.
Merrill,
Thank
you
you,
did a
Binu.
good job. I hope, Merrill, you were there for my defense, okay? You know, we need youngsters like you to come up, okay? And
Thank you, Uncle.
you're a good leader. So thanks a lot. We will see you, you know, if God permits, we will see.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Binu.
Thank you so much for everyone who are watching the live. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.